Last Saturday, I posted this story to Instagram about my Zwift PC, and I got a lot of questions about it. So today I thought I would answer some of those questions and address a lot of the misconceptions that I hear from people about what sort of hardware do they need in order to run Zwift. Let's get into it. Zwift will run on basically anything. Anything from a high-end gaming PC all the way down to an old potato. It'll run on just about anything. But most people are usually running it on a lower-end, underpowered device, such as a phone, an iPad, or Apple TV is very popular. So a lot of people are getting an underpowered experience, and they assume that what they see is what they get. But oh no, there is so much more that could be. So today we're going to talk about how to run Zwift as fast as possible, how to crank up that eye candy to 11, max everything out, and get a buttery smooth 4K 60. This is how to run Zwift as fast as possible. Quick disclaimer, I mean the game will run really fast. Your avatar won't actually go any faster. Just so we're clear on that. This won't make your avatar any faster, sorry. Fundamentally, Zwift is a video game, and just like any video game, it takes a fair bit of power to run it at a resolution of 4K and 60 frames a second. It's only been in the past few years that even modern, big-budget AAA video games can run at that kind of resolution, at that kind of frame rate. It just takes a lot of computing power. So if you want to run Zwift at 4K 60, you're gonna need a lot of power. And things like cell phones, iPads, Apple TV, even the Apple TV 4K, they just don't have enough power. It just doesn't matter. They will not run Zwift maxed out. And this actually brings me to one of the biggest misconceptions that I hear from people with Zwift hardware. The Apple TV 4K just means that it will output a 4K video signal, like if you're watching YouTube or something. It still will not render the video game of Zwift at 4K. It still won't be that resolution. And again, because it just doesn't have enough power. And even that device, even the Apple TV 4K, will have several visual features turned off. You won't have shadows or real shadows under your bike. The resolution of things in the game will be less. It'll run at a lower frame rate, and it'll run at a lower resolution. Again, it'll run, but as far as trying to have the best visual performance, it's not gonna come close to what a gaming PC will have, or a gaming laptop. That's really the only way to get it. You're gonna need a dedicated piece of hardware. Now, you can, of course, go buy a dedicated gaming PC from any number of manufacturers, but you will end up spending a lot more money and end up with features that you don't really need if you're just trying to use it for Zwift. Your best option is to build it yourself. And if you hear build your own computer and think like soldering wires and writing code and everything, I can assure you it is nothing like that. If you can assemble a piece of furniture from IKEA, you can build your own gaming PC. It really is that simple. I will link several really great videos explaining all the details about it down below in the description. Go check those out. I'm not gonna get into all the details here, but all of those videos will explain everything that you need to know. And if you have any questions about it, feel free to just comment in this video and I'll try to answer any questions best I can. So you've decided to build your own Zwift PC. Here are the components that I would recommend. Quick, just side note, as of filming this video, there's a massive computer hardware shortage. It's a total cluster, and retail prices of things are just totally out of control. So I'm going to present this information assuming that prices and availability will normalize at some point. Having said that, what hardware is best for Zwift? Well, remember, Zwift is fundamentally a video game, and the most important piece of hardware for a video game is the graphics processing unit, the GPU. It's the thing that draws all the shapes on screen. So if you want to run Zwift 4K 60, you're going to need a powerful GPU. And I recommend the 1650 Super or the 1660. Both of them are great options. And before the whole hardware shortage thing, they were very reasonably priced at about $200. Then you need a CPU, the central processing unit. Now, Zwift doesn't really require a lot of power in that sense. So actually, this computer here is built just around an Intel i3 10100. It's one of Intel's lowest end CPUs and runs just fine. And I've paired that with an ASRock motherboard. Again, those videos in the description about building a computer will help you decide what motherboard you need. And then as far as RAM and storage, Zwift doesn't need a lot of RAM. It doesn't need to be super fast, nothing crazy. So 8 gigs of DDR4. And as far as long-term storage, I have a 256 M.2 drive. It's not crazy, it's not overly fast, very, very simple. The only piece of this that is really all that powerful is the GPU. Finally, you need a power supply. It's 430 watts in this one. Don't get a really cheap power supply. It'll just short out and kill your entire system. So spend like $100 on your power supply. And then the case, this is just a Cooler Master case. It was on sale. Again, does not need to be all that special. Toss in a copy of Windows and keyboard and mouse. The whole thing set me back about $750, which I know is like over 4 times the cost of the Apple TV 4K. This is not the most budget way to do that. I've never made the claim that this is the way that you have to do it. This is about having Zwift run at maximum capacity. This is about cranking it up to 11. And for $750, a gaming PC that runs a game fully maxed out, pretty reasonable. But what can you expect for your $750? Well, let's take a look at some side-by-sides comparing my Zwift computer with my old laptop and the Apple TV. Hey, Eric from the future here. So real quick, the device that I use to capture the video direct from the laptop and the Apple TV to give a fair comparison, it's not working. So we're gonna go with the old, let's put the camera on a tripod and point it at the TV method for this video. But for those of you watching this a few weeks or maybe a month from now, check in the description because I will upload a new comparison video once I get that capture card working. Okay, let's take a look at the comparison. So we're gonna do it blind and see if you can guess which one is which. There's a gaming PC, an old laptop, and an Apple TV 4K. So this is device A, and it's gonna be different times of day, so you're not gonna be able to pay attention too much to like how cloudy or sunny it is. So try to look for, like, is it smooth? Does it look nice? What do the shadows look like? Things like that. And then onto device B. And finally, device C. Moving into the wooded area, try to get another perspective. We have device A again. Then device B. And finally, device C. And for one more comparison, let's do a side-by-side, try to get an idea how they look right next to each other. We'll start off with device A again, and then this time we'll compare A to device C. And then finally bringing in device B. So, do you think you know which one's which? Comment below if you think you have it figured out. Tell you the answer here in 3, 2, 1. Yep, that's right. A is the PC, B was the laptop, and C was the Apple TV. Honestly, the laptop looks like hot garbage. I can't believe I used it for as long as I did. The Apple TV looks actually pretty good. It's pretty smooth. There's some decent shadows. The main thing is it's still a much lower resolution, and I don't have the live shadow under the bike like I do on the PC. Honestly, the PC is just in a totally different class, and it looks way better. For me, with how much time I spend on Zwift and training indoors, the expense of a dedicated Zwift PC and the visual quality that it brings and how much it adds to the immersive feeling of Zwift is totally worth it. I realize this is not for everybody, but for those of you that are looking to sort of elevate your indoor training game, a dedicated Zwift PC is a great way to do it. I genuinely wish that I had jumped from my old laptop to this computer a long time ago. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. What sort of gear are you running Zwift on? And would you consider spending like about $800 on a dedicated Zwift PC? Let me know in the comments down below. and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.